I'm Mike Sherman, and the clear lesson of the NBA Finals is, in the immortal words of a former Mavericks coach, pass the ball.
The Mavericks did that, and now they are the champions of the NBA. From the Opopco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenni Carlson. Mike, we had a front row seat for these finals, obviously happening in Dallas, but very close at hand here in Oklahoma City for the fans and for the Thunder. What the heck did people learn from these finals?
Well, Jenny, they learned the same thing that we saw down at the Oklahoma City Arena, which is a bunch of old guys can beat a bunch of young guys by passing the basketball and playing unselfishly. The Thunder could run the Mavericks out of the gym any day if it was a track meet. It wasn't in the finals. LeBron James and Dwayne Wade like to dribble. The Mavericks like to pass the ball, and they did it so wonderfully. That was such an exhibition of how you can spread the court with shooters, how you can pass the ball well, how you can get out and run when you need to. Old guys. You know what it reminded me of, Jenny? A little bit of like going over at the YMCA and playing a bunch of 50-year-old guys who know how to position and move the ball and running a couple 25 or 30-year-olds out of the gym. Not that I have any experience with that on the winning side.
Well, the Mavs were clearly not the most athletic team, not in the Western Conference Finals and not in the NBA Finals, but now they're the champions of the NBA because they did a couple things really well. Passed the ball, definitely, but they also played as a team. They had a superstar in Dirk Nowitzki who was fantastic most of the time. I mean, when he was off in the first half last night, it was like, what in the world's going on? He was so good, so solid throughout these playoffs that you really were surprised when he was even the slightest bit off. And now you look at those pieces around him. That's where it really came together in my mind for this team. They had guys like Jason Terry who stepped up, got called out, and then played well in games 5 and 6. You had J.J. Barea, a guy that people couldn't have picked out of a lineup a couple months ago, coming in and playing huge minutes and getting huge stats for the Mavs, guys accepting their roles and playing to them. I think that was really important, and that's a big lesson for the Thunder to take away from this series.
Well, the other lesson that the Thunder will not take away from this series, in fact, they'll run from it, is what you said a few minutes ago. You mean that you can sign free agents willy-nilly and win an NBA title? That's what it appeared that Mark Cuban had been doing for the last 10 years. And this team really has a feeling of willy-nilly. But here's the lesson in it. Sign a bunch of guys with something to prove. Bring in a Peja Stojakovic who still hurts from those losses to the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Jason Kidd, twice losing NBA Finals. Dirk, of course, we won't even bring up the Miami loss. Jason Terry, the same. Those guys were motivated. Sean Marion, Robert Horry, bumping Steve Nash, suspensions, sons hurting. That's what motivated these guys. And they could bring them all together using the keen motivational devices of Rick Carlisle, who out-motivated Pat Riley to get the Mavericks to play team basketball. And that's what happened. And the Miami Heat did not play team basketball because, Jenny, team basketball involves when the ball's in the air and it's 50-50, you move to it. LeBron James, he watched. Dwayne Wade dribbled the ball off his foot and then tried to bend over it like an old man picking up a bar of soap in the shower. That was not hustle. That's not championship basketball. The Heat did not have it.
No, they did not. And I tell you what, I still heard some of the Heat players saying after Game 6 that LeBron James, the best player on the planet. I'm sorry, he's not the best player on his team. That's Dwayne Wade. And I think that the Heat, like the Mavericks recognized how they played best, and they played to those strengths. The Heat, I'm not sure that they ever quite got the fact that Dwayne Wade, although he didn't play flawless basketball, he was the guy that most likely was going to be hustling. He was the guy that most likely was going to be attacking if that was what was called for, or shooting if that was what was called for. And they did not play to that strength of Dwayne Wade being that guy for them. The Thunder can learn from that too. Russell Westbrook's a fantastic player, but he needs to pick his spots. Kevin Durant is that go-to guy, and if you build around that strength and everybody recognizes it, we see what happened. They're going to be having a celebration. They're going to be having a victory parade in Dallas. Oklahoma City, they weren't that far. Maybe they can learn some lessons and set up that parade for later. Hey, stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.